Hi, and welcome to the Skincarma Pod. I'm Carmine, the creator and voice of the Skincarma blog. With more than 25 years in beauty as a brand builder, copywriter, and skincare junkie, I'm putting my product wisdom and expertise to work demystifying skincare. Today on the Skincarma Pod, I'm excited to welcome Keith O'Brien, the founder and CEO of Hydrinity. Keith's background reads like a blueprint for next generation clinical skincare. 2 decades in biotech and aesthetics, deep roots in the science of healing, and a passion for innovation that goes beyond surface level beauty. With Hydrinity, he's taken the kind of regenerative technology once reserved for medical settings and brought it into the world of skincare with formulas that do more than hydrate, they heal. I first came across Hydrinity's products in my work as a product innovation judge in this year's Beauty Matter Awards. I love a good facial cleanser, and I gotta say, Hydrinity's new Prelude facial treatment cleanser really made an impression on me. It's rare to see innovation in a cleanser. The brand even conducted clinicals on a cleanser. And while I'm not an avid user of body products, I found the brand's Encore Body Hydrator to be an exceptionally sophisticated formula with powerful anti aging actives unusual in a body treatment. My fellow judges seemed to agree. After all, it's one of 5 finalists for a Beauty Matter Award in the Best Breakthrough Body Care category. Since judging wrapped up, I've had the pleasure of experiencing the entire Hydrinity range. I'm super excited to explore the clinical grade science behind the products with Keith, but particularly the brand's medical origins and why he believes the future of skincare is rooted in regenerative technologies. Let's do this. Let's talk to Keith. Keith, hi.
Hey Carmine, how are you? Thank you for having me. I feel honored. It's an honor to be on your
I'm
show.
honored. I'm honored you took time out to be with me. This is great. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've been intrigued by the product since I first came across that cleanser. I mean, a cleanser? Why am I wowed by a cleanser, Keith? Like, it's so good.
It's you know what? I thought the same thing,
Yeah,
but this cleanser is different. I mean, it really
it's
is. It actually
different.
has technology. It's the only cleanser that has technology. So
I agree.
it's
And
so good.
I talked about that a little bit in the intro. That's what intrigued me about it. Like a cleanser is a cleanser to me that it goes down the drain, but there's something about this one that just really stood out to me. So I really loved it, and thank you for that experience, and thank you for sending me the products. I'm really excited to delve into all of it with you. But first, I want to know about you. Who are you? Where are you? I know where you are, but why don't you share with the listeners?
Well, today I'm sitting in one of Hydrant's offices in Nashville, Tennessee. We call this our Experience Center, and it's a great training facility. We bring people in up from all over the country. It's where my creative team where they reside. So so I'm in Nashville, Tennessee today.
I love it. I love it. When I go back, I bounce back and forth between New York and LA in the course of my
Yes,
life. I moved out to LA when I was 22. I moved to New York when I was, I don't know, 30, and now I'm about to move back to LA. And the trip cross country, this time I'm going to pack the cat and fly
okay,
and ship my
good
stuff.
call. Yes,
But when I moved to New York originally from LA, I drove across country and I have never forgotten Tennessee. I saw states that I'd never thought I would see in slow motion, and I loved Tennessee. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, but it reminded me a lot of where I grew up in Connecticut. It was just the it was so green and lush. Yeah, and I had a great time. Of course, I had to stop in Dollywood.
of course,
I have
absolutely.
my Elvis refrigerator magnet for, I think it's his biscuits or something, with his recipe of his biscuits on there. But yeah, so let's talk about the brand. Is the brand based in Tennessee, or
Actually,
your offices?
Louisiana. So we
That's what
just
I
have
thought. Yeah,
we have our corporate offices there, but it's hard to get to. Monroe, Louisiana
right.
is really hard to get to, and so we picked a spot so we could grow the company in Nashville. Was just made perfect sense. I already had some people that lived here. everybody. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's more cranes here than New York and LA combined. This place is just going crazy right now, and
It's
so
booming.
it's a good place for us to be. Great medical community, people are nice, good place to do business. So I'm a
Yeah.
fan. They probably
So
should put me
speaking
on
of,
the Chamber of Commerce or something.
maybe someone from the Chamber of Commerce will happen to be
Yes.
listening. So you talked about, the medical field. That is that where you got your start?
Yeah,
Like, talk to me about your background.
I'm an old time pharma biologics guy.
Hmm.
It is kind of funny how Hydrinity got started. Never thought I'd have an aesthetics, build out an aesthetics company.
Hmm.
But we found this way to manufacture hyaluronic acid like nobody else had ever done. We used a heat free extraction process. And so we were actually working on building products for advanced wound care, diabetic foot ulcers, venous ulcers, but also for spine patients. And what we found was just happenly, and we started using it in some people they were undergoing radiation therapy. And what we found is some of the serums that we were using in the HA, their skin was perfect. And these were people with severely compromised skin. The more that we looked at it, it just became very evident to us is like, this is different. It's really special. And we probably need to continue doing this good work here, but also, you know, build out an aesthetics company. And that's kind of how Hydrinity got started. It was like, is we saw how well it worked in severely compromised patients and the light went off and it's like, well, in the aesthetics world, we wound each other all the time. If you get a chemical peel or you do a moxie
Yeah.
or a BBL or anything, I said that skin is no different. Actually, it's better, but it's still wounded and it needs to be healed
Right.
fast.
Right.
So we started doing testing. We did clinical trials and we saw how well it worked. And then we saw we could use different ingredients. I'm kind of an ingredient nerd. I like special things that nobody else uses or in different percentages. And so we were able to build out some really good products that do things that other products haven't been. What we like to say is we're a marriage between science and luxury. So we
Mm.
we use science as our base,
Hmm.
but our products feel different than most other products out there. When you put it on, people you should see their eyes. It's like, oh, this feels different.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the cleanser
Yeah.
certainly felt different to me than, and I try everything. And I have to tell you, I'm also really excited and impressed by the renewing serum, the hyaluronic
Oh,
acid
yeah.
renewing serum. There's just something about that too. I love applying that. It's wonderful. But you brought something up that I want to really highlight, and it is your positioning, the brand positioning of treating skin as if it were wounded. And for the longest time, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a copywriter in skincare. I've been doing it for about 25 years. So, when I'm like poring over your packaging and, because I've written so much product packaging and, product positioning and, going through your web pages and really like absorbing all of that. And I have in the past about looking at a surface wrinkle as a wound. And I have these conversations in beauty with marketers all the time, and they always looked at me like I was crazy. And then a few years ago, I don't know if you're aware of this. It was an Israeli company. I don't remember the name of the company, and they harnessed the power of copper to heal wounding on the skin. I guess they had been putting copper fibers in military uniforms and found that where the material touched wounded skin, it healed it more quickly. And they created a pillowcase that was made with these exact same copper fibers. And I use this pillowcase and I have no wrinkling around my eyes. Yes, I use sunscreen in my immediate eye area, but I'm 59.
Wow.
The fact that I have no crow's feet, like it really, I think is a testament to, those copper fibers in that pillowcase that treat the skin on my face as a wound. So, I'd love for you to expound upon that and how Hydrinity has really taken that as part of the brand DNA because no brands are thinking that.
Yeah, no, and I think that's where the wound care arena is probably a little more advanced in some ways in the aesthetics, the way we look at things. So number one is your skin, you have to balance the pH.
Hmm.
If your skin is not balanced, if your pH is out of whack, you're not going to heal. You're not going to get optimal. The other thing is every one of our products, not only do they balance pH, but they reduce inflammation. Inflammation is bad for your skin, it's bad for your gut, it's bad for your joints. Wounds don't heal, your skin doesn't heal. If you're in an inflamed state, what
Yeah.
happens is you don't get to cell proliferation and you don't produce collagen and elastin, which is what keeps you young looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
The world that we live in, whether it's noise pollution, whether it's sunlight, oxidative stress, that all that causes your skin to be at an inflamed stage a lot. So what we try to do is calm the skin as quickly as we can. So when you have that, and like the Renewing, you said, it's got twice the HA as any other product out there in its
Hmm.
category, but it's also got some tightening peptides in it. And I think that may be
Yeah.
the reason you're like, it's
Yeah.
lifts, tightens, and plumps a little.
Yeah.
I think you have to do that. And here's the other thing is every one of our products has a delivery system because true skin rejuvenation happens at the dermal layer, not at the epidermal layer. So you have to penetrate the skin to get to the dermal layer because that's where all your fibroblasts, keratinocytes, collagen, and elastin, that's where they reside. And so what you do is you stimulate those, but you can't stimulate them at the surface level. You have to get down to the dermal layer. All of every Hydrinity product has a delivery system because that's where true skin health and rejuvenation happens.
Yeah. Is that the ppm?
That's part, yes, the ppm 6 is one of our technologies, but our
Hmm.
low molecular weight, we use that as a delivery system for a lot of our serums because our low molecular weight is small enough to penetrate down to the dermal layer, unlike some HAs, and it's because of how we make it.
Yeah.
But your product that you love, the Prelude, the cleanser, we use fulvic acid as our delivery system in that, the micro technology. It's an organic, and what you find at, it's almost like peat moss at the bottom of a lake or a river. And what you
Hmm.
do is you extract it and you get the fulvic acid out of it. And what
Hmm.
that does, it can hold up to 100 times its own weight in product and in other ingredients. And so it penetrates down. It's a bidirectional molecule. So on its way down to the dermal layer, it drops off all your antioxidants and all your peptides. But on the way out, it extracts micropollutants, dirt, and grime. That's the reason that cleanser works so well. And the Daltons are so small, it gets in every core, in every crevice. I love HA. I kind of feel like I cheat on HA when I'm using fulvic acid, when the microfusion technology,
Right. Yeah.
because it is so good. So we have it in Prelude, we have it in our vitamin C, our Hydro C product. Also, we have it in those two products. We'll probably have
Hmm.
it more in the future, just because it's only one of a few bidirectional molecules out there. Most of them are either positive or negative charge. This one actually does
Yeah.
both.
That's so fascinating. I never heard that term
Yeah.
before. Wow. That is cool. We can walk out on Dalton's for the rest of the podcast if you like. I love talking about molecular weights.
It just, that's what I think. Everybody's used an HA in the past. And what I tell everybody,
Yes.
if you've used an HA and you didn't like it, or if it was tacky or it's sticky, formulators just use the wrong molecular weight. Because in orthopedics, I want a 4 or 5 million Dalton. I want my HA thick as maple syrup. So when you inject my shoulder, I need to be very viscous. You
Yes.
can't put that on your face because it won't absorb.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so our high molecular weight, it's very specific, and our low molecular weights. So we use both high and low because they do two different things. We have a 1% variance, Carmine. If it's out of 1% variance for that weight, we throw it away. We won't use it. We are
Wow.
very precise because if you don't have the right molecular weight, you're not going to get the results that you're.
Right. It's not gonna
And it's
penetrate,
nasty and
right?
it's sticky and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
not a
we
good
all know,
experience.
we all have the experience of those cheap,
Yes.
$5 hyaluronic acid serums. And I've talked about this on the
Yeah.
podcast a lot that, that cheap hyaluronic acid just sits on the surface of your skin. And, if it's dry in New York, it's not attracting water from the air. There is no water
Yes.
in the air, right? Like
Yeah.
it's silliness to
It,
me.
it, it is.
And so the HA technology that you're manufacturing on your own. You said that you manufacture your own HA. How does that process work?
So we just, without too many details on it,
Right.
we don't use heat. We don't use heat. We found a way that you can use bacterial. You can extract the HA from streptococcal HA. Actually, our HA is injectable grade, so it's the same level of purity that you would put in a needle. And if you get a filler or if you get an injection with HA, it's that same grade. So we use injectable grade. So in ingredients, I know you know this, but for some of your listeners, maybe you have injectable, you have medical or pharmaceutical grade, and you have cosmetic
Hmm.
grade.
Hmm.
We usually use medical or higher in all of our ingredients that we can, because they have to meet certain criteria. I think you get better ingredients, give you better products, give you better results. And we use injectable grade HA so you can use it immediate post procedure. So you can be as ablative as you want and use our products, so you don't have to worry about granulomas. You don't have to worry about infections or anything. That's the reason our Restore Serum is probably the number one post procedure product there is out there. It's because it quells inflammation, it's analgesic, and it does everything that you want. What it does is it accelerates the healing, so it cuts your downtime in half. Because that's what people. I think we've done a good job in the industry, and I say we now. I've been doing it 3 years now. I consider myself part of it now.
Yes.
We've done really good with. Nobody complains about the price of a procedure anymore. They only care about two things, Carmine: how bad does it hurt, and how much downtime am I going to have? And so when we develop restorative HA serum, that's
That's
what.
this one.
Yeah, that one. Yes, it's called the Healing Hydrator. When we did that, it was purposely for to be used after a post procedure, or if you have redness and if you have eczema,
Hmm.
psoriasis, that it's really good for that too, because it's got an ingredient in it, agache mexicana, that
Hmm.
reduces your skin temperature by between 1 and 2 degrees Celsius, which is really
Fascinating.
cool. Yes.
And so the skin has been heated up by the procedure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you cool your skin down, but what it also does is stop that inflammation. Once the inflammation is stopped, then the healing cascade can really begin. And I tell people, Carmine, all the time, inflammation's not bad. Prolonged inflammation is not bad. Your body has made, when you get an injury, whether it's self-inflicted or not, your body is programmed to start that inflammation process, so the M2 macrophages go out there and eat the bacteria and it helps the healing. But if it's prolonged, that's when you get scarring, and that's the healing process will not begin. Cellular cascade just doesn't happen if you have inflammation.
So back to the itself, the supercharged HA. I know that HA has benefits beyond just hydration, even though skincare marketers really just focus
Yeah,
on that. Right? So can you talk about that a little bit, because this is exactly where the brand is positioned.
absolutely.
The clinicals and the medical
Yeah,
approach and the healing.
HA has so many benefits. It's also an anti-inflammatory agent.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
some there's some pretty good data, mostly from the Far East, where these low molecular weight, it shows that it's antimicrobial also. And
Hmm.
so that helps. It's a delivery mechanism. There are It stimulates fibroblasts, which stimulates keratinocytes, which stimulates collagen. And it has to be in that order. So you need HA to stimulate collagen. And at certain points in your life, as you get older, those cells become senescent. And so they don't stimulate as much. So by using Hydrinity or even other HAs, it helps stimulate collagen and elastin, even though you're not putting collagen on. And so what it does, it's a barrier protector. If you use high molecular weight, it helps protect your skin barrier from reoxidative stress also.
Mm.
It just does so much more than
That's
just
such a
hydration.
great point.
Yeah.
That's such a great point. And I wonder, I don't know why brand marketers, maybe because they do a lot of they have a lot of that herd mentality, and they don't talk about that. We copy each other, and they don't have to. Then they don't have to do any real thinking. But I've known for a long time that HA was anti-inflammatory. It has other benefits besides drawing water to the surface of the skin, and it's so fascinating. And I love your medical approach to it. So I know that Hydrinity is grounded in regenerative aesthetics. Can you break down for us what that actually means and how it differs from what we know is like anti-aging?
Yeah. And again, I think it all goes back to I have a couple of different approaches in my thing. And the good thing about not being grown up in the industry, like you
Mm-hmm.
just said, you don't have that group think. You don't just following like a like a group of sheep. You can actually
Yeah.
do things different. And so the first thing is we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think you have to true healing happens at the dermal layer. And you have to, and I think you have to use different ingredients and delivery systems. And I think that's a bigger part of it is it's not the ingredients, it's the formulation and it's the combination of what you use together. I think that's the biggest part. The other thing too is I think you don't have to destroy the skin barrier to be effective. You don't have to
Yes.
make somebody not want to go out and just, and I don't believe in that. I don't believe in 12-step regimens. There's a lot of things that the industry's done for a long time that I don't think. And the other thing, I think the one thing that really set us apart early on was how fast our products worked. And if you think about this, we didn't launch until September of 22. So we're not even 3 years old yet. But all of our clinical data, we did clinical data before, third party clinical before we launched as proof of concept, just to make sure we started seeing visible results in 2 weeks. I don't think some things absolutely take 10 or 12 weeks, but you can see better. Your skin can be better. Your skin tone, the evenness, the plumpness of it, the hydration. You can start to see that at 2 weeks if your products are effective. And so I think that's the other thing. We should talk in wound care a lot. Expeditious wound closure is our goal. Got
Mm-hmm.
to close it up so you didn't get infected and all that kind of. It's the same. It is the same with skincare. A couple of months ago, it was National Rosacea Month. I read a study. 78% of all patients being treated for rosacea stop their therapy within 30 days. If someone has a disease like rosacea that can be debilitating to them, not just physically but emotionally, if they'll stop, if they don't see results soon enough, if they'll stop that, then people just trying to look younger, and they're not going to continue to use product if they don't see results. So
Oh,
it
sure.
has to work
Yeah.
fast. And
Yeah.
we design everything we do to work fast.
Smart. Consumers are expecting
They
that.
are, absolutely.
And there's got to be, you've got to temper the expectation, I think.
Yes.
And to your point, yeah, you can see some evenness of the skin and plumping and softening and smoothing of the skin very quickly. It's the other things like stimulating collagen. I think people think that they use retinol, they're going to see immediate results, and a lot of times what they see is immediate irritation and they give up.
Yes.
And for stimulating collagen can take 12 weeks.
Absolutely.
Like it's the
Yes.
kind of thing you really need to stick with. And there's things like antioxidants. Like you don't see visible results from antioxidants instantly. It's just the kind of thing that you should be doing for your skin and your long-term skin health. For me, not to proselytize, but so that you get to 59 and you're wrinkle free essentially, right? Like there's things that are much longer term, and it's just all pieces to the skin health puzzle. And you brought up skin barrier, and it's a critical piece to the puzzle. And why do you think it's finally getting the attention it deserves? Like, I know you're just coming into beauty, but brands haven't really talked about the skin barrier until the last couple of years, and you're kind of coming into it at exactly the right time.
Yeah. I think there were probably early on, there were probably a few thought leaders that
Mm,
it didn't benefit them to talk about it because their products did other things. And so
right.
I think people just kind of followed the crowd for a while until
Yeah.
you had some people well before before me came in and said, no, we really should be looking at this. This is important. And so I think with any movement, sometimes it just takes a while to get legs.
Yeah.
So I think that's, you get trained and you think a certain way and you just do that. It reminds me of the quote, people, when Henry Ford, he would ask people, what do you want? And they said, I want a faster horse, because that's what they were used to. They, hey, we don't need a car. We just need faster horses, So
Right.
I think it just takes people sometimes when things are new and a different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
It just takes a while. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve Jobs used to say something similar, that it wasn't up to consumers to tell a tech company what they wanted. It was up to the tech company to create things that consumers didn't
That
know
they
they
need.
needed.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Hydrinity is uniquely positioned as accelerating post-procedure healing. You've obviously worked closely with dermatologists and aesthetic
Yes.
professionals along the way. How has that kind of shaped the brand identity today?
It's good because I had somebody when we were early on said, "Hey, you don't have a chief scientific officer. You don't have one person that's directing you." And I said, "You're
Mm,
absolutely right. I don't like a one person think tank. I get different opinions from different people, and then you mail them together, and everybody has a different perspective. But what you start seeing, if you see a common thread, if you talk to 4 or 5 people, then that's what you latch onto. If you listen to one person, again, it goes back to that group thing. That's how you have to look at it. And I just tell people to be brutally honest with me. Give me the good, the bad, the ugly. Tell me my kid's funny and got big ears. I don't care. I need to know the truth. And so when you give that to people, they will give you good insight. When you give people permission to hurt your feelings or to tell you what you're doing good and bad, you get good information that you can use. And then the
yeah,
second part of that is when you get the information, use it. Make sure you use it. I tell everybody we are driven here by innovation, but we're guided by our customers. And so it's we're going to innovate. You just tell me which path you want me to go down. And
sure.
that's how we developed a lot of our products is talking to people and they say, hey, you need this, you need a lip product, you need a pigmentation product. From when we started, and that's how a lot of our products come to the market is, hey, you need this, and then we go and then we develop them.
You get this from estheticians, I'm assuming, right?
Estheticians,
Yeah,
physicians, yeah, it's just
yeah,
the
yeah.
people who do it
They're on
every
the
day.
front lines.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
they're the experts. They do it every
yeah,
day. Why would I rely on what I think versus somebody who does the job every day?
for sure. So I know I'm going to get asked this question anytime I introduce a brand, particularly a niche brand, an indie brand. People are going to ask me what they should try. What's the one product in Hydrinity that you think everybody needs to try?
That's kind of like saying which one of your kids are your favorite, right?
Sophie's Choice?
So yes, you know what? I got a couple of kids, but for anybody who says they don't have a favorite, that's probably true. But there are
Mm,
certain days when you have a favorite kid, for sure,
yes,
depending on
it's
how they're
true.
acting. You know what? I can't say hyacin or hyperchlorous acid spray because everybody's tried that. So there's nobody that
Right.
hasn't tried that. I will tell you my favorite product right now until maybe September
Hmm.
is Vivid.
Okay.
Vivid.
That's this one.
It's the only one in white. It comes in a white box. It's so different. It has 15 active ingredients in it. It is the best non-hydroquinone product for pigmentation. It treats reds, it treats browns, it just it's based off our Renew platform. So we took our renewing HA serum, we
The one I love.
the one
Yep.
that you love, and then we added 15 extra active ingredients to it. It is packed full of. Here's the other thing. It has my favorite peptide of all times, oligopeptide 68. What
Okay.
that does, it prevents melanin production. So, Carmine, what it does is when parts of your body that produce melanin, what this does, it comes in and puts a cap on it and it doesn't let it produce it. So, not only does it treat pigmentation, it prevents pigmentation from happening. And so
Got it.
that's the reason this is my favorite product because and it also hydrates. So we call it triple therapy. It treats, it prevents, and it hydrates. I've seen people that had terrible melasma that this was the only thing they could use. They shouldn't use a hydroquinone, but this is so it's so gentle but effective. Not only that, it prevents the breakthroughs. So, as you know, when you're using a hydroquinone product, number one, you can use this with that. And that's what I usually recommend. But you have to cycle off that product from time to time. You can only use it for
Yeah.
3 months, you have to cycle off. What this product does is extend the times before you have to go back on it. And that's a really big deal for people. This product right here it changes people's lives. We've had people that have used this that they would always have breakthrough during the summer when it gets hot.
Hmm.
And so, but we have people now that live in Arizona and California, even South Florida, that use this and they don't get the breakthrough. The other thing that this has that ingredient we talked about earlier, agache mexicana, in there that reduces your skin temperature because pigmentation is not just from sunlight, it's from heat.
Yeah.
And so if you live in Louisiana where I do, like last summer, we had 60 days in a row it was 100 degrees.
Oh
You
my
have
God.
to you so just going and getting in your car, you got to reduce your skin temperature. This you can use twice a day, 2 pumps twice a day. Use it morning or at night. It's such a great product. And like I said, they're all good, but this is the one because it has anti-aging properties and it treats your pigmentation. And I think that's what we try to do also. All of our products do more than one thing. We usually try to make our products where they do multiple, so you don't have to have 6 or 8 or 10. I'm a huge proponent of skinamizing, where you use fewer products to give you great results.
I love that skinimizing. So again, this is the Vivid Brightening Serum. I'll drop the link into the show notes because I know people are going to ask.
Yeah, it is such a wonderful product.
Yeah. So let's, looking ahead for Hydrinity, where do you see the future of regenerative skincare heading?
I think there's some pretty there's some things on the cusp that I think
Hmm.
some people are pretty close to. I can speak of one company. I can speak of Hydrinity. We're very close to introducing something. Actually, it's in 55 days, if anybody's counting, which my team is. We've been working on it today. We're going to introduce true. What I tell everybody, we're going to deliver on the promise of regenerative medicine. We have a
Hmm.
product coming in September that's a true regenerative medicine product that's never been done before in the industry, and it's going to change. It's going to change the way that certain conditions are treated. It's so
Wow,
it is so
amazing.
good, so powerful. We're finally able to deliver on some things that because people use those buzzwords all the time, regenerative medicine and this or that.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the stuff's not regenerative medicine, and there's I would say nobody's really delivered it really good yet. There's a couple of companies that I think do a pretty good job, but I
Hmm.
think what you're going to find in the next 12 to 18 months, you're going to see multiple companies be able to have products that are really advanced. And I do think that's what we need in our industry in skincare. I think we need to keep advancing it. I think we need better clinical studies. I think the science needs to be better. I think we need better products than some that we have now.
Amazing. And I would love to feature it on the podcast in September when you launch it. Have someone come on from the company and let's
Absolutely.
talk about it.
Yes. No, we could absolutely do that. Yeah. It's because
Yeah,
it's one that you'll want to try, but all your listeners will want to try too because it's a product that everybody needs, but some people haven't been able to utilize it in the past.
right. Fascinating. Wow, it sounds like an ingredient trend or product trend that I wasn't expecting this
Yeah,
year. We're riding longevity and senescence and exosomes and all of it. And you sound like you're doing something super innovative that nobody else is doing just yet.
not yet. We'll be the first one to do
Amazing. That's
this one
cool.
thing. So yeah.
That's cool. Very excited. I'm looking forward to seeing that in September. Listen, Keith, before we wrap up, let's do a quick lightning round. If you want to give me one answer to each of these questions,
Okay.
fine. If you want to expound on it, fine. I wonk out on anything here. First thing you do for your own skin in the morning.
I use Prelude. You got to cleanse. You got to wash your face.
That
You have
is
to.
right
Yeah.
here.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And I wasn't, and believe me, I was a soap guy until this. I tried the cleansers. Carmine, I was like you. They didn't do anything. I thought this is a waste of money, but
Yeah.
that's the first thing I do now
Yeah.
every morning.
Skincare trend that needs to end.
12-step regimens. You're killing me.
I think it's meeting its demise.
I think you're right. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need 12. You don't need 12 steps in your skincare.
Yeah.
Yes.
So along those lines, what's the most overrated skincare step?
Oh wow. That's a great question. I don't know if there's one that's overrated. I think people misdiagnose themselves, and that's the reason I'm a
Mm.
proponent of seeking a skincare professional and
Hmm.
letting them, because sometimes I think people use two products that are the same, and I don't think you get a synergistic benefit. I think sometimes they might cancel each other out. Uh,
Oh yeah, that's such a great point because I separate vitamin C in the morning from peptides in the evening because I know there are certain peptides, copper peptides, I believe, that are canceled out by ascorbic
yeah,
acid. And I don't think a lot of consumers they don't really pay any attention to that, but brands, marketers, formulators, they're not looking at how people pair specific products. It's not they're not responsible for that.
yeah, and they don't. And I tell people all the time when we first came out, we had three SKUs, so I wanted to make sure that our products could pair with any other. They layered well, and you could use them with the other products because we don't build regimens out a lot of times for our patients and clients. Because I know sometimes you may have a product from another company that you used and you loved. I'm not going to try to take that away. I say, you know what, you can use that along with that, and you'll get better results. And I think that's what a lot of companies do is they only look at their products, but a lot of people use multiple products. They don't use just that one skincare line, and I think that's where
Yeah.
marketers miss it sometimes. Is they think
Yeah.
no, they're just only going to buy Hydrinity. No, they're going to use other brands too, and I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So what one word to describe hydrinity?
Innovative
Yes, good choice. What's misunderstood in clinical skincare today?
ingredients.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not ingredients; it's formulation.
Okay.
Formulation matters more than ingredients because again, we talked about sometimes there are certain ingredients that have a positive charge and a negative charge.
Yeah.
It matters the order in which you mix them to whether they stick together or whether they separate. It matters the percentages of what you use. It matters the combination of that. So a lot of people will say, I have this ingredient in there, it must be good. Well, it's not enough in there that it really matters. It's a good buzzword, but it doesn't. I think formulation is much more important than ingredients.
Yeah. I love that. What's the biggest myth about hyaluronic acid?
That it's tacky and sticky.
Okay.
It's not.
Tacky and sticky equals cheap, people.
Absolutely. And it's cheap and it's the wrong molecular weight also.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is absolutely. Yes.
The future of skincare in one word.
Science. I think
Awesome.
science is going to win. At the end of the day, science will win.
Yeah. That's amazing. And lastly, finish this sentence. Real skin health starts with
Consistency.
amen. Stick with it.
Just be consistent.
Yeah.
If you do it's like everything in life, consistency wins at everything. And it's with your, like you said, hey, I even know the term double cleanse now. I didn't know what that was, but now I know. So you don't even have to double cleanse. Clean your face before you go to bed. Put some
Right.
in morning or at night. Use skincare product. Use them every day. If you can't, consistency is going to win. Even if you
Yeah.
have an average product done every day is better than a great product done once a week.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Stick with it. Keith, this was incredible.
No, thank you. Man, I love talking to other people. I love
Yeah.
telling people about Hydrinity. We've been very fortunate, very blessed that the aesthetics community has embraced us, and what we try to do is deliver on our promises to them. So
Yeah.
we try to make sure we come out with the best products we can.
Well, you certainly caught my eye. And again, I will drop links for the listeners. I'll drop links to Hydrinity and to my favorite products into the show notes. Keith, thank you
No,
so much.
thank you. It's my pleasure. In September, I'll make sure that you get a taste, you get a little tease of the new product. You're gonna like it.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Skin Karma Pod. Find more insights, real talk, and reviews of my favorite skincare products on the Skin Karma blog at skinkarma.com. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review this episode. It helps me to reach more listeners. Ciao.